I drink your milkshake.
You are listening to the Billionaire Podcast Network.
Moving my bones, no place to rest. Travel the north just to find my head. I'm still cornfed. Cornfed. Moving my bones, no place to rest. Travel the north just to find my head. I'm still cornfed.
Go. Welcome to Lost in the Maze. Number 9. This is the 9th one. The 9th Lost in the Maze. Only on the Billionaire Podcast Network. Ka-ching! Bing, 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 bing. Fill her up. This is Lost in the Maze. This is the solo show on the Billionaire Podcast Network. Ka-ching! Bing, 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 bing. Fill her up. And you're listening to, you're watching or listening, or rather watching and listening to yours truly, the first billionaire podcaster, the Caucasian Copperhead, the Daniel Plainview of podcasting, the Caucasian critic, Darth Brooks, White Sonat. It's your boy, Dalton Pruitt. Welcome to the program. Up top, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, rate, review, subscribe, whatever you're supposed to do to help the show. However that works. I don't know, carpet bomb other forums, go to subscribe to Gas Digital just to invade the racist live chat and promote this show during an episode of Real Ass Podcast. I look for like big accounts on X, formerly Twitter, talking about the Israel-Palestine conflict, and just reply with a link to this show. But most importantly, patreon.com/cornfed with Dalton Pruitt. That's the Patreon for this channel. $5, $10, $15 tier, $25 gets you the Fraternal Order of Corn-Fed decal, and if you send me a list of your enemies, I will call for a jihad upon your enemies. I've already done that for the first person that's gotten the decal, and I'll do that for anybody that signs up for that tier. And you do have to be subscribed for 3 months to get the decal, so it is effectively $75 for a sticker. But you also get a jihad, which is a hot button word. But it is, look, it's part of the Muslim faith, and I've recently converted to Islam. I'm allowed to practice any religion that I want, and I find the Quran to be a beautiful work of literature, and that's how I spent my time in prison. It was either convert to Islam or join the Aryan Brotherhood, and I decided to worship at Allah, pray 5 times a day, facing Mecca, which begs the question: do Muslims have the same sort of thing in their heads as like how birds have like a magnet in their head so they know where to go for migration? So when they say that you're supposed to pray facing Mecca, do Muslim people just have Do they have like a Mecca magnet in their head so they know which way to face, no matter where they are geographically, when they pray? Because if you were to if you were to ask me to pray facing like the next town over from where I currently am, I wouldn't even know like which direction to face. So I couldn't imagine, like, if I was to try and pray from where I am facing Mecca, I have no clue I have no sense of direction because I grew up with GPS. So when I learned to navigate, it was with a At that time, it was either with a TomTom or a Garmin, and at the time, it's crazy because at the time, those were the future. When the Garmin and the TomTom came out, it was finally no more are we burdened with the Rand McNally Atlas that you got to buy at the Walmart. No more do we have to fuss with these maps. It's all available at our fingertips with this extremely faulty and slow technology that is the TomTom and the Garmin. But it was such a novel thing at the time that you could, suction cup this device to the windshield of your car, key in an address, and then you could install different voices to give you the directions. So you could have, Mike Tyson telling you how to get to the Cheesecake Factory. Turn left. I was dipping into Jay. What if it was Jay Leno? I was like, hey, have you seen this? Have you heard about this? You want a slight left at the fork to get to your destination. Will be on the right. And so those were big. They ran a lot of ads for those, and they were really pushing them at the Best Buy. You got to get you a TomTom or a Garmin, and then those were quickly usurped by just the apps in our smartphones. So no more did you have to suction cup the GPS to your the inside of your windshield to navigate. You could then stare down into your lap as you try to figure out where to go as you're driving, and possibly get into a collision because, because you're trying to figure out how to use Google Maps while you're driving. You can't text and drive. Don't ever text and drive, but do type in Chinese food near me while you're driving so that you can figure out where you want to take the family to eat. So, as you're while you're on the road, type in where's the Red Lobster. I thought I knew where it was. Now we're lost, and I gotta on the call an audible to get to the Red Lobster, and pray that I don't kill my entire family trying to get endless shrimp. It's Shrimp Fest at Red Lobster, and yeah, all those restaurants suck now. I think we did talk about this on the other podcast, but yeah, all the mid-level chains are terrible now. The price of everything's going up, the food sucks, and all that's left is fast casual in terms of like a cheap family outing for like decent food at a somewhat affordable price. So you can either go to Chili's or Freebirds, Qdoba, Genghis Grill maybe. I don't know what people have where they are. There's a lot of places that just do burritos, or they started doing burritos. I don't know what happened. When I was a kid, it was and Chipotle first came around. They had the burritos. It was this this sort of like absurd burrito was the idea. It was just, what if we made the biggest burrito you've ever seen? And that's what Chipotle does. And it was like a special treat as a kid to go get like this giant, like just the unwieldy burrito that they would make. And then like something happened where maybe they did the market research and determined these burritos are falling apart as people try to eat them. It's a messy, impossible, cumbersome meal. This giant burrito. So what if we offered something where we took the insides of the burrito and just put them in a fucking bowl for people, and make a burrito bowl, which is like it's not a burrito bowl. Like at that point it's just a casserole. Like what makes a burrito, I would assume, is the tortilla. Is a burrito. So if you remove the innards from the tortilla and slop them into a bowl, at that point you just have like just a bowl of different ingredients, which like would be like what, like a 7-layer dip or a casserole of some kind. Like a Mexican lasagna maybe is what you would call it, but it's definitely not it's not a fucking burrito, because the component that makes a burrito is the tortilla. So just taking the ingredients from the like that would go inside a burrito and put them in a bowl, you can't just call that a burrito bowl. It's just a bowl of Mexican ingredients. Like, I don't know, just call it the Mexican bowl. Call it call it that. Call it fucking slop. Call it call it Hispanic slop, Mexa slop. There you go, Mexa slop. But it is tasty. That is my go-to at Chipotle, the burrito bowl with both black and pinto beans, white and brown rice, grilled veggies, steak, every salsa, lettuce, cheese, sour cream, guac, and then you sit down and eat by yourself at the Chipotle. Just have a big Chipotle bowl by yourself. And I'm not in Chipotle. The best thing about Chipotle to me is like I'm not normally like a fan of Tabasco sauce. I think it's one of the weaker, maybe like a C tier. What hot sauce sommeliers would call table sauce. If I'm going for a table sauce, I would go Cholula or perhaps Tapatio, Valentina, maybe. But I've always considered Tabasco to be lesser than in terms of table sauces. However, I think we all know where I'm going with this. At the Chipotle, they have the Tabasco variant, the Chipotle Tabasco, which is transcendent. That Chipotle Tabasco is delicious, and I'm taking a bottle for myself at the table and dousing my bowl in the Chipotle Tabasco, and then I'm stealing the bottle because I don't know if you can buy that at the store. It might be like a Baja Blast situation where you can only get it at the restaurant. Which now you can get. I think you can buy Baja Blast at the stores, which kind of takes away a lot of the magic of Baja Blast. Because that used to be one of the special special treats that came with going to a Taco Bell. One of the main reasons I would go, that I really enjoy going to Taco Bell, is for the Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Much like how I don't care for regular Tabasco, I don't necessarily care for regular Mountain Dew. I've never really cared, like, the taste of it. Like, whatever Mountain Dew is normally, it's never been good to me. I've never really enjoyed it. But the Taco Bell Mountain Dew variant Baja Blast is top S tier soda, one of my favorites, and that was like the reason to go to a Taco Bell, aside from the delicious food. But it was like, I really want, more than anything, I want that Baja Blast, and it always made going to Taco Bell feel like a grand adventure. And then like I start seeing Baja Blast in the stores, and it's like, what you don't understand, that there needs to be restrictions on certain things. We can't have unfettered choice everywhere we go. We need to be limited in what we're allowed to have at any given moment, so that things have more meaning, so that like the things we do enjoy and hold out for and make the time to experience at the places in which we were able to experience it, so that those things like actually have meaning and purpose for us. And B, it's to let people know you don't always get what you want, and you have to practice self-control and delayed gratification. So if you want Baja Blast, you got to go to a Taco Bell. It has to be for whenever the next time you go to a Taco Bell. It shouldn't be something you can get during your grocery run. It has to be for when it's time to go to Taco Bell. It's also time to get Baja Blast. It's not supposed to be at the store. The store is supposed to have regular Mountain Dew, Code Red, and the new Major Melon, which is the Major Melon is also very good. But keep the Baja Blast at Taco Bell so that it's special. It has meaning within the parameters, within the restrictions. Therein lies the meaning. But if you remove those walls and allow the Baja Blast out of the Taco Bell and allow it to run rampant throughout all of our markets, grocery stores, and convenience stores, and make it more accessible to the public, the Baja Blast loses all meaning. Okay? There's too much supply at that point, and the demand dips because now it's no longer, the allure is not there, because it's just, you just have it whenever you want now. The most enticing factor that goes with Baja Blast is the fact that you could only get it at Taco Bell, and so but we're spoiled, so we just have to have Baja Blast on demand now. Nobody, the market dictates that you're just supposed to be able to have whatever you want whenever you want, and you should never have to want for anything. Just completely unfettered access to everything at all times, instant, infinite pleasure all the time. Anything you want for a price, as long as you're willing to pay for it, the market will supply it for you. That's the way things are heads. That's what I called that when streaming came around. I said that when people started first using that term binge watching, I told all of my friends, I said, this is a bad idea. This can't be good for people to sit down and watch 10 hours of TV at a stretch, to watch like an entire season of television like in one or two sittings, to just like that never sat right with me. And at first it was like it was like a social thing. It was like just a thing people were like calling it on their own. And then once the streaming services caught on that this was like entering the zeitgeist, the what people were calling binge watching, then they started marketing everything that way. And then they started like producing these shows to cater to binge watching. So they have it in mind that people are fat fucking gluttonous pigs for everything in this country, and now including TV. So they're like writing and producing and making these shows with the idea in mind that they are to be binged. So it's like entire seasons of television are being written and made in a way to like get people to just sit on the couch for 8 hours and shovel it into their heads. And I don't think that's like an effective way to engage with any art form, is to just like force yourself to watch it for 8 or 9 hours at a stretch because it's there. But it's also just like not healthy at all. Like there's not, I mean, who am I to talk about like health in any regard, mental, physical, or otherwise? But it's like I can at least recognize the fact that like if there's like an hour drama that you like, 1 or 2 episodes tops in a sitting, but just sitting there, like I saw that like Suits is like the #1 show streaming right now. Like there's like billions of people like really getting into Suits, and just like burning through this entire series, a series which I've literally never had any interest in. I know it's about lawyers or whatever, but it's it's like an hour-long drama, like USA drama or something. So I can only guess that it probably has more episodes in the season than like prestige drama. So it's probably anywhere from like, I'm guessing like 15 to 20 episodes a season, maybe 13 episodes, who knows. But people are just sitting there in front of their TVs just like guzzling this down hour after hour of this show, and I don't know like how much of it they're actually remembering or taking in. It's just it's slop TV. But that just like the word itself, binging, like that's prior to streaming, I had only ever known that like associated with like eating disorders. Like you either binge and get fat and you know develop some sort of like diabetes or something, or you binge and purge. So you binge food and then shove your fingers down your throat and get rid of it, which is how a woman is, you know, stays attractive. But yeah, and so then now it's like all the streaming services and the way TV is made is for binging, which is like the same philosophy as like a 21-year-old woman who looks in the mirror and thinks she's, you know, she's 80 pounds but thinks she looks like Lizzo. Is like that's what TV is now. Is like we're all just a 21-year-old woman with BPD and some sort of eating disorder, and that's how we consume television these days. The same as the same as a rich white lady you know, with rich parents who's depressed and can't stop eating and can't stop throwing up, because that's what we do. We actually do binge and purge. You watch an entire season of TV and then go on social media to you know, spill your thoughts about it. You gotta get it out because everybody has to hear your opinions on you know, you know, fifth time watching The Office all the way through, and I just noticed this, and this, or whatever, and um, yeah, just you know, it doesn't seem healthy, but that's you know, that's what we need here. We are choices everywhere, infinite and instant access to all pleasures all the time. Just come, you know, at our fingertips, at our whims. Entertainment, food, pornography, just music, everything. You don't have there's no you know, you don't have to work for it anymore. There's nothing you know, everything's available all the time, whenever you want it, instantly and infinitely. Therefore, none of it really has any meaning. You know, the parameters that guide our life, the sort of structure of uh just structure is what gives life meaning, I would say. Like in your day to day, like having actual structure is what, when you work within those parameters, that's sort of like the game that's being played, that gives like your existence, so, like where you find meaning is within the structure. But then if you remove the structure in the way that we have, where you just have, like you can just do whatever you want whenever you want, and you have access to everything you've ever wanted all the time, infinitely and instantly, um you know, then it's just an endless stream of information and entertainment being pumped into your skull. And you know, forgive me for referencing what I'm about to reference, but that's the plot of Infinite Jest. That's what that book warned us about, was the loneliness and addiction that comes with a society where pleasure and entertainment are provided for us constantly at you know, in every facet of life, where you just have like constant just entertainment and pleasure and information, and news, and the corporations run everything, or you know, blah blah blah. But yeah, I mean, that's what, you know, that's what he tried to warn us, you know. The book is like more you know, like what happens in the book is that it's like a spooky videotape. There's like this videotape that's being sent around to like all these different addresses, and so if you like put the tape in and watch it, it's like it's so entertaining and so mesmerizing, hypnotic, that whoever's watching it, they just keep watching it over and over and over again, and until they waste away and die, just in a puddle of piss and shit and vomit and decay. and it's sort of like intentionally like a pretty heavy-handed metaphor for like the direction things were heading when he wrote the book and where we are now, where that's like essentially what we do. And I'm adding to that by doing what I'm doing right now. I'm throwing my hat in the ring as part of the endless stream of entertainment. Like people have told me that this show is entertaining in some way. It's content. It's something to observe and watch and ingest, infinite ingest. And so I'm not innocent in all that, but that is what we have now. And I can't yeah, I get what he was going for, especially like whenever I watch like stuff from like Kai Sanat, where I'm these streamers where I'm truly like, I don't, what is this? Like they're streaming for fucking hours, like 10, 11, 12. I mean, that's as much as I just talked about binge watching like scripted television, that at least that's like the suboxone to the fucking opana that is Kai Sanat. I mean, Jesus Christ. That dude is like, I can't wrap my head around it. And I don't know if it's like, if I'm speaking from a place of like being older than him or that like that viewership, or if I'm just speaking from a place of like just being like having any sort of awareness of like, this seems dangerous. Like whatever's happening on these streams seems like harmful to anyone that's observing it. Like it should be unplugged. It should be like that movie Surrogates with Bruce Willis, where at the end they like unplug all the robots that people are using to exist in life instead of actually having to go anywhere, and then everybody's forced to go back outside for the first time in forever. There was probably a better example I could have gone with for how I'm trying to explain how we need to unplug from streamers like Kai Cenat and XQC and all that. But I went with the movie Surrogates with Bruce Willis, which I saw as a double feature. Not, it wasn't like an actual double feature, just back to back. I went and saw that, and then the movie, what was it called? Pandorum, with I think it was Ben Foster and Dennis Quaid, which is that's actually a good movie. Surrogate sucks, but Pandorum, I remember thinking that was actually a pretty fun movie with a delightful twist ending. It's it's campy or whatever, but Pandorum's fun. And yeah, so Kai Cenat, and like I said, maybe it's just an age thing, or maybe it's not my cup of tea. I don't know. I mean, are you allowed to not like things anymore? That's the question. Because anytime you express any sort of like dissident opinion now about any form of entertainment or whatever's out there, you get hit with these people saying like, just hey, damn man, let people enjoy things. Why you hating? Just let people enjoy things. And it's like, enjoy good things. Like, why can't you just enjoy something good? And then they're like, well, that's your opinion. And it's like, I don't know. This might be an instance where like this is objectively bad. Like this is beyond like subjective experience. This is just like objectively fucking terrible and harmful to people what these people are doing. And they're the most famous, wealthiest entertainers on the planet right now, but it just something about it seems like very insidious, and like watching them, it's also very like unsettling. Like if I'm watching, like I was watching clips of this guy. I'm hung up on Kai Cenat. This is the Kai Cenat this episode, or maybe an appreciation of, but it gave me the same like feeling, like unsettled feeling inside of me, like the same vibe as those like Elsa Gate videos that were like a big deal a few years ago, like those YouTube videos that were being made that were ostensibly being targeted to children that weren't necessarily violent or like overtly violent or sexual, but they had this like tinge of some sort of je ne sais quoi some sort of something going on in there in the DNA of these videos. Like it was just like these very like unsettling videos where it's like Spider-Man and Elsa swinging on a swing set, and then Elsa's like paddling Spider-Man on his little bottom while and like like we all remember, we know what I'm talking about, the Elsa Gate controversy, where it was like these sexual but not sexual, violent but not violent videos featuring like children's characters doing things that were getting like tons and tons of views, that had this like sinister undertone, like some sort, like they felt cursed. And that's the same sort of vibe I get watching like Kai Cenat or XUC, or like a lot of these streamers. Some of them are, it's just like retards. Like honestly, like that is like XQC or Hassan Piker. It's just like, oh, I'm just watching like a guy with some sort of disability, try to wrap his head around like geopolitics, even though he's like not only unqualified to speak on these things, but like his brain won't allow him to learn or consume information in any meaningful way. And were he not the nephew of the guy who founded the Young Turks, he would have no cultural relevance. But yeah, I mean that's my beef with Kai Cenat. Is it just something about it feels very sinister, insidious, unsettling, disturbing watching it, but I just can't peel my eyes away from his big, bright, white, shining teeth. God, he's got some big ass fucking teeth. And I've been trying to figure out my angle politically, because over the like recent years, we've had a lot of different people position themselves politically in a way, especially on these types of forums: YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Rumble, different content sites, if that's what they're called. But there's been all kinds of different like personalities pop up in the recent years that have some sort of political alignment, to that they like will position themselves as to speak on and offer their perspective and point of view. And whether they're sincere about it or not, whether they actually believe the things they're saying or not, they're making money doing this. Where you got Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, Matt Walsh, Jack Posobiec, or whoever that is, Mike Cernovich. And then on the other end of the other side of the spectrum, there's guys like like Chapo Trap House, or whoever, so that Sam Cedar guy. I don't know who there's all the leftist guy. Oh, all the right and leftist guys: socialist, capitalist, Marxist, fascist, whatever you want to call them. And I've been trying to figure out, where do I land on the grift spectrum when it comes to political podcasting. And I think I finally figured out where I am on that, because I've gone back and forth between, like, is capitalism good or bad? Is socialism good or bad? What are these things? Where are we headed? What would be the best option? And I think I finally landed somewhere, and I've determined that I am a staunch feudalist. This is now a feudalist, pro-feudalist podcast. We have to return to feudalism. I'm convinced that there's so many people now, and things are getting so disproportionate in terms of wealth and resources, and who owns the land, and who has control over what. And I'm convinced that it's time to return to a feudalist system, because we're getting there. We effectively, the middle class has dissolved. It's not coming back. The people that have the wealth, the lords and kings, essentially, I mean, it's already what the oligarchs possess all of the wealth, and resources, and then the rest of us are left as crabs in a bucket, scrambling within this broken system to just scrape and survive, with no chance of any real, like, for most of us, upward mobility, or chance of even like ever thriving. Like, we're really just struggling to survive. And I'm convinced that within the sizable population in this country, I'm absolutely convinced that most people are incapable of taking care of themselves. And that's the real issue, is that this expectation that everyone in this country is supposed to go out and get a job and work their way up the ranks and get a 401k, or do a what, blah blah blah, 40 hours a week, do what they're supposed to do, or go to college and learn something and then get a good job. uh I'm convinced that there's very few people capable of actually building any, maintaining a respectable life, and working a decent job, and building something, and taking care of themselves. I think most people do not possess the faculties, or the mental strength, or wherewithal to actually take care of themselves. I think we have much more like IQ 30 people in this country than we do, like IQ 180 or whatever is a good IQ. I'm IQ 30. I can't take care of myself. But I think that's the reality, is that we have a country that is mostly peasant class, and then a very small percentage is actually capable of taking care of themselves and owning property, and driving a car, and living the typical, like, what has been the typical American life. So we got to get back to feudalism, where the land, the property, everything, or the resources, the town itself is owned by, the fiefdom, I think is what it would be called, is owned by like a lord or a duke or whatever. And then ultimately everything is ruled by the king, and the lord of whatever particular fiefdom you're in expects the peasant class, does provide labor, and offers up the fruits of their labor, percentage of it, to the lord. They offer their resources as payment for being able to live on the land and in these properties, and have access to utilities and everything like that. And that's the exchange. And if you research this sort of thing, like I just did, where I skimmed a Wikipedia article, a typical peasant in like medieval Europe worked anywhere from 150 to 175 days a year, and then the rest of the year you just chill out, just hang out. School's out for summer, baby. And that was feudalism. And that slowly dissolved and was replaced by like mercantilism, and the marketplace, and the free market and exchange of goods and services and ideas. And that developed, and it was innovated over time, and eventually festered into this ultra capitalistic system we have now, where everybody is constantly in this endless pursuit of capital and material things, and wealth and resources, and everybody's obsessed with just owning stuff and building upon building everything, and it's a blight, a cancer upon humanity. What's happening with this sort of just rampant capitalism that we exist in. And as I think about this, it's like, okay, well then what's the solution to this? It's like there is the pull yourself up by the bootstraps thing, where it's like, work hard, work smart, make money, be a part of this capitalistic structure, get yours. But I don't obviously I want to get mine, but I'm not like particularly like an individualist. Like, I care about myself and I care about other people, so I'm not interested in just getting mine and pulling the ladder up with me like a lot of people do. I want to be like part of the humanity and the rest of the world. Like, I don't have any like real desire for like like huge wealth and power. Like I truly just want to like live comfortably and be free from the burden of like having to pursue like the material world, really. But that's like if you have that mindset, you'll never be rich. You'll never, like that's not how I become the first billionaire podcaster, I'll tell you that. But then, so a lot of people now are saying the solution to all this is socialism, the sort of like communal effort of all of us working together to further not the individual but the collective, to push humanity further as one. And that will never, like, that's just not going to work out, because there's always going to be megalomaniacal, egotistical sociopaths that hoard all like the wealth and resources of this planet, that wish to maintain these hierarchies, and they won't allow us to exist in a galactic commune, much like Star Trek. So like, just understanding human nature, there's just not any way for socialism to work, just given the fact that like we know how humans work. Like there's never going to be like the people in charge, the people with power and real money and wealth and resources are not going to allow that to happen. But they also can't expect the rest of us to take care of ourselves and play this same game, like the game, like for eternity, when the price of everything is going up, wages are not increasing, and people are getting just overworked and underpaid, rent is going up, and it's like clean slate. Nobody, the peasant class, there's the peasant class, and then there's the royalty, the lords and dukes and the rulers of the fiefdom, all the way up to the king, and then the rest of us are in the peasant class. We can't take care of ourselves, right? And so we live on their land, in their property, and do the work that they ask us to do, anywhere from 150 to 175 days out of the year. Offer unto them the fruits of our labor, the resources they ask of us, and then we fuck off the rest of the year, because everything is provided to us by the ruling class, by the lords and dukes of the fiefdom. And then those of us in the peasant class can go have a mead at the tavern. You know what I'm saying? We need so I got to read more on this. I'm really talking out of my ass on this right now. But much like any political ideologue that has popped up over the last 7 to 8 years, I have discovered a new political ideology that I don't know much about, and it's time to make that my entire identity for my going forward, for myself, for this show, and I will, and that will be my mission statement moving forward, is I am a staunch, hardcore feudalist. This is now a feudalist podcast, and we have to return to what do they call it, Morianialism, or the system by which the peasants work and pay the lord and the duke. So I'm going to research this more, and then I will talk about this incessantly, make it my entire identity, and then collect Patreon subscribers somehow based on that. Yeah, and that, maybe that is the way where things are headed. Anyway, like just naturally, like clearly the people in charge, with like all the people with like billions of dollars, are already positioning themselves to not even be kings. Like I think they want to be gods. Like they want to live forever, and just have control over everything forever. And it's like, yeah, let them be gods, and then let us peasants just chill out, have some meads at the tavern, and then we get to die. We get to fucking just get out of here, and then 100 years from now, there's children that worship the very real god that is Elon Musk, like a corporeal god, like the god that exists and walks amongst the people and dunks on the libs. and does like epic bacon memes from on high. That's the god Elon Musk, and then I don't know, the god Bezos won't let you go to the bathroom. You have to ask God Bezos anytime you want to go take a pee pee. Which that's what working at the Amazon warehouse is like. You gotta ask permission to go take a pee pee. And they won't let you. No, you only get 1 half-hour break out of a 10-hour shift, and it is a 10-minute break, 10-minute walk to the break room. So you have 30 minutes to eat your lunch and do your business in the lavatory, 20 minutes of which are spent walking from the conveyor belt to the break room. It is a Dickensian nightmare, those warehouses, but it's all that entire labor force is going to get replaced by robots anyway, because the robots are more efficient, and they don't require water and proper safety measures to be met, and that whole chestnut. I only did the job for like 2 weeks and I just stopped going. I was like, fuck this, I'm too smart, I'll do podcasting later on. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, everything's scary right now. Everything's very scary. They say we're on the verge of World War III, and our military is not equipped, is not ready to fight because there's drag queens in the United States Army now. And it's like, did nobody watch MASH? I mean, Klinger was always in a dress, and he was a damn fine soldier. So it's nothing new that there's dudes in dresses in the United States military. It's just something that people like to get upset about. I get, yeah. I don't know why that's all of a sudden a thing. People are mad about like drag and trans stuff, and it's like that's been around forever. Like it's not like anything new. Like there's always been like drag queens, and like the whole spectrum of like there's dudes who want to dress up like women but they don't want to be women, and then sometimes they're not even necessarily gay, and then there's people that were born male that want to become female, and female that want to become male. Like that's always been like, I feel like that's always existed to some degree, and now it's like this great fear amongst a lot of people, especially now that there's drag queens in the military. Which but that has no bearing on like their capabilities as a serviceman, and you don't even know, like, and the people that like are complaining about this stuff are like I don't think they have any fucking clue what they're even talking about, because there's like so many different jobs that exist in the military. It's like, well, like the drag queens may not even necessarily be like people that would go on the front line. This might just be like an IT guy or something. Like this might just be somebody who works in IT or fly, like sits at like the Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada and bombs a wedding in Yemen with a drone. Just a dude dressed up like Mimi from the Drew Carey show, slaughtering Yemenis weddings with drones. That could be what that's what those people are. They're not the ones that we're putting M5s, M16s, whatever the guns are the infantry uses. Yeah, they're not the ones we're putting those rifles in the hands of. In fact, I would say that like when you like the job you're given in the military, I think is like determined by like your intelligence. Like when you take the ASVAB. And so I would imagine that like a drag queen, it like possesses more emotional maturity and overall intelligence than like a meathead infantryman. Not to say that like any guy on the infantry is stupid, lacking in any way. It's just that in terms of like capabilities, that someone who is a drag queen is certainly like obviously creative. They're handy with a sewing needle and know how to like put things together. So they seem to possess like these qualities that may probably don't lend themselves to infantry or artillery, but are great for maybe like administrative work or drone operation or something like that. And so these videos are like these people in the military that they say we're doomed if we go to war. It's like like the infantrymen probably are still just like guys who like chew tobacco, scratch their nuts, and if and if they are gay, there's they're those like really cool kinds of gays. They're really tough, and you wouldn't even know they're gay until they fuck you in the ass. Like the neighbor in American Beauty who kills Kevin Spacey at the end of the movie because he was ashamed of how gay he was, because he was a Marine, and he had the hots for that beefcake Kevin Spacey, so he had to fucking kill him because he couldn't handle being gay anymore. And I've also seen that there's a point of contention amongst people, really concerned with the Israel-Palestine conflict. I've seen that some people are upset that Taylor Swift has not made a statement yet. Her silence is deafening, and that is psychotic to me, that anyone expects her to say anything or cares about what she has to say regarding this conflict. It's also wildly irresponsible to try and get her to say anything, because I don't I don't think I don't think I'm being hyperbolic here when I say that if she speaks on this issue, on this conflict at all, whatever her opinion may be, even if it's the most beautifully eloquent, nuanced opinion of all time, the best opinion that anyone's ever had on anything, it is going to have drastic ramifications in geopolitics, in the global landscape. It's going to move chess pieces and turn the tides in ways that we can't even imagine, because that she has like arguably the most power, wealth, and influence of any entertainer right now, to the point where I don't like it would be irresponsible, it would be dangerous of her to say anything publicly about this. I can't imagine that going well in any way if she actually says anything about Israel and Palestine. Just keep going to Kansas City and having fun, and enjoying the football games, Taylor, because because it's like she's too big. She can't. It's like all these other like A-list celebrities are ants compared to her. Like these lists that are going out of like the pro-Israel, pro-Palestine celebrities, it's like 30, 40 different celebrities on those lists, and it's not moving the needle at all in any real way. Taylor Swift just merely has to whisper, like that Marvel character Black Bolt. If he opens his mouth and says anything, it can level an entire planet. So if Taylor Swift just makes a peep about this, the butterfly effect that follows, the hurricane that blows through the geopolitical landscape, will have devastating effects, unforeseen consequences should Taylor open her mouth. And I think she knows this. She's smart. That's the other argument. People try to dunk on her for like she's like a climate activist, like she's very environmentally minded, and wants to like clean up the environment, and she makes these like posts or says things about how we got to fix climate change, and then people try to clown on her because it's like, oh, you say you care about the climate or blah blah blah, but you still fly in a private jet. The emissions from a private jet are whatever the nerds, the numbers they got cooked up. And for a lot of other entertainers, that fly private, I could see the hypocrisy, of that. Like, if there was like, like if 21 Savage or Lil Uzi Vert or somebody like that was going on and on about climate change but still flying private, I could see how that's hypocritical, because like you just go fly first class. Like, you don't have to fly private. But with Taylor Swift, it's like, people need to understand that she does exist as like a Hindu god among the clouds. Like, she cannot like muck around with the rest of us. Like, she can't, like, if she goes to like, like Dallas Fort Worth Airport, it'll be gone. The entire airport will be gone in like 20 minutes. It'll be razed to the ground. People will turn into like the infected from 28 days later. They'll go rabid and start clawing and biting at each other, trying to not. They don't even know what they're doing at that point. They just see Taylor Swift, and it'll infect their minds and drive them into a frenzy, into madness. Like, that level of celebrity will like induce some sort of like psychosis or hysteria in the public. She can't like go to a fucking airport or even like a restaurant. She just has to exist in this, like, as Rush calls it, the gilded cage. Truly. So yeah, she has to fly private, like, for not just for her safety, for like the safety of the world, for the population. She can't be amongst those. I mean, I know, like, I know she's still human, but I mean, not really. Like, she's kind of like transcended whatever being human is. Like, I look at that's the weird thing about, like, I look at those pictures of her and Travis Kelsey together, and like, I always feel like in any public appearance she makes, she has to like present as though she's still human, and then like behind closed doors, she's just like like a glowing light of pure energy that exists beyond like our understanding of anything in the universe. She's just like a manifestation of like entropy in the universe. And then when it's time to go on stage, she puts her skin suit back on, and it's the Taylor we all know and love. If that makes any sense. I hope everybody's been enjoying the song reactions I've been doing. I know this is Lost in the Maze, not the Caucasian Critic, but go ahead and send me some suggestions if you want to see me react to a song. I like doing all that. And I mean, other than all that, I hope all y'all are doing well during these turbulent, troublesome times. I know it can be stressful. It can be this times like these can cause a lot of anxiety, a lot of dread in all of us. So it's important to take care of your mental health. And by that I mean, never go see a therapist. Call your closest friend and talk to them. And if they say something like, "Hey, I'm not your therapist," what they mean is they're not your friend. Boom, you just found out who your real friends are by making these phone calls. You found out who you can talk to, who can actually help you through times like these. But I want to encourage everyone, never talk to a therapist. That is a scam, and it's designed to keep you going to that therapist and to internalize within you that all of your issues and fears and anxieties and behavioral patterns, everything can be attributed to something found in the DSM-5. That it can all be, whittled down to some ailment or some like medical definition. And and it's all like this elaborate, like, pseudoscience medical scam to get you to just keep paying $150 an hour to talk to someone you don't even know, and they don't know you, and they don't like they necessarily don't even care if you ever get better. They like you're paying. It's a transactional relationship, whereas you have actual call your friends and figure out which one is actually willing to talk to you and lend you an ear. And don't be selfish, lend your ear to them as well. It's a back and forth. It's a game of badminton. But that, that's what we can do in these times, is remember to call each other, to maintain those connections, deepen them, and never support the mental health industry. That's, if you take away anything from anything I've ever had to say, never see a therapist, never see a psychiatrist, don't take antidepressants, don't take anti-anxiety medication, try to stay away from pharmaceuticals. Try to stay away from pharmaceuticals as much as you can. And that doesn't mean turn to Eastern medicine or anything like that. Just eat healthy, drink lots of water, and if it really comes down to it, take a pill if your doctor has to prescribe it to you, but never go see a psychiatrist. In times like these, the real medicine is love. It's good to have friends. I just started talking to people again after my brain accident, my coma, and it's nice to talk to people and figure out where they are in life, how they're doing, and realize that I am really at rock bottom. These people, they have savings accounts, cars, families, houses, and I am truly lost and don't know what I'm going to do or how I'm going to survive. But that's what podcasting is for, folks. That's how we get out of this. I said we getting at the hood with this one. We getting at the Maize with this one. You know what I'm saying? All right, I shouldn't get too. I don't want to get too melancholy. I'm obviously I'm looking too inward at this point. So I was probably sitting too far away from the microphone for a lot of this recording. So forgive me for that. But that's it. That's it for this week. This was Lost in the Maze 9. Patreon.com/cornfed with Dalton Pruitt. Rate, review, subscribe. Spam social media about this show, and I guess thank you. I love you. That's what I have to say. I love you.
You've gone and left me crying. After you've gone, there's no denying. You seem blue, you feel sad. Mr. Van never. There'll come a time, now don't forget it, baby. There'll come a time when you regret it. Someday, when you grow lonely, your heart will break like mine. You want me only. After you've gone, oh, there's